Pivotal events in the history of different peoples are reflected not only in oral folk art, historical memory and worldview, but of course in everyday life. For example, in how we address each other. Salam alaikum, this is Fin. Today we're going to talk about forms of address among Azerbaijanis, specifically about the loan word Muellim, how it replaced historically appropriate national forms of address, why this happened, what it led to, and how we should view it. Get these. This discussion focuses exclusively on forms of address for men, since the official and unofficial form for women is simply hanım. Among male forms of address, we have the relatively new word janab, sir, gentleman, its historical local equivalent bey, usta, master, yoldaş, comrade, reis, chief, and its synonym müdir, and of course muellim, teacher. All of these, except the last, dominated during different socio-political eras but never fully settled in the language. Muellim, however, succeeded remarkably. If you address a stranger as janab, the conversation immediately acquires a formal tone. A patriotic person might object, why not bey? The person addressed might reply, how am I a bey or a sir? I am not from a noble family. A third might add, beys were abolished long ago, and technically that's true. When the Bolsheviks came to power, one of their first decrees in May 1920 abolished all social ranks that had existed before, ağa, khan, bey included. But as the saying goes, cessante causa cessat effectus, when the cause disappears, the effect ceases. If the authority that enacted a law disappears, the law itself loses force. In the early 1990s, in independent Azerbaijan, the nationalist government revived the word bey, addressing each other exclusively this way. Soon after, failures in domestic and foreign policy almost led to national collapse. As a result, the masses became disillusioned. Nationalists moved to the opposition, and the word bey acquired a political connotation. Even today, one can hear, am I an oppositionist that you call me bey? The word yoldaş, comrade, also went out of fashion, and it was borrowed anyway. It survived only as long as the workers' and peasants' government held power. Now, if you hear it, the tone is usually unfriendly, as if one speaker wants to scold or dismiss the other. Usta, master, is mainly used professionally, referring to someone providing services. Among borrowed forms of address, we have reis, müdir, and muellim, all of Arabic origin. The first two mean a person in charge, a leader, chairman, or chief. In Arabic, muellim means respected, authoritative person. In a narrow sense, it means teacher. Addressing a stranger this way automatically confers knowledge, skill, and respect upon them. Recently, in the Sultanate of Oman, I overheard two strangers, one addressing the other, a security officer, as müdir. Presumably, this refers to someone performing an official function or any function. In Azerbaijan, reis and müdir never became widely used. They fit specific hierarchies, specific contexts. Muellim, on the other hand, fills all gaps. It can be used anyway by anyone, can refer to a colleague or equal status. Why muellim became the most popular form of address is hard to say, but we can make some assumptions. First, it's not new. It was used during Soviet times in the 1970s alongside comrade, especially in bureaucratic and organizational context among equals and colleagues. Second, in the late 1990s and early 2000s, after the decline of bey, muellim easily occupied vacant social space. I would suggest this rise is linked to growing bureaucratization. It mirrors the situation of the 1970s. Then the state plan, administrative economy, and a swarm of bureaucrats. Now state corporations, corporate environments, and armies of office workers. Third, there is a psychological factor. People like being called something they are not, especially if the form of address emphasizes qualities they may not actually possess. This is universal. While studying in Poland, I noticed in university correspondence, it's customary to address someone using a title one level above their actual status, a form of courtesy and motivation. With muellim, the effect is similar. However, many real teachers dislike this. National characteristics, shared roots, and adapting international practices are all important for the development of society. With muellim, excessive use can devalue real teacher status, which is unacceptable. However, artificially regulating how people address one another is futile. In such cases, language is a living entity, like the pupil of an eye. It will cleanse itself of specks and discard what is unnecessary. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, leave the comments and share with friends. By the way, the video is also available in Russian. And remember, there is no good or bad culture, only different culture. Salamat kalın.